What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels Podcast. One of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-host, Micah.
I am so tired.
Dude, I'm tired, too. I did a home sleep study last night because I might be getting one of those fancy CPAP machines. And let me tell you, I woke up a good jillion times last night. It sucked. And so I am soldiering on. It's going to be fucking awesome. Look, you should be on cloud nine, man. Game Award nominees came out for 2023, and your boy made it. Spider-Man made it into the Game of the Year conversation.
Look, I attribute that solely to the fandom of the character, because
Yes.
Look, I love that game. But like looking at the rest of the nominees, yeah, like no.
It's not. Yeah, let's say it's not going to win.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So the nominees were Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Mario Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom. It was one of those years where there were like probably 5 other games that could have made it on the list. Like there were some folks trying to pressure Jeff Keighley to actually expand the Game of the Year category, kind of like the Oscars did that one year. He did not do it because he didn't want to set a precedent, and just wanted to kind of make it special.
Yeah, you can't give in to terrorists' demands, and all that's gonna do is just drive more people to get upset when their game is nominated.
That's right.
And
that's true.
Doesn't win. So
that's true.
No, just keep it to. Quite frankly, I'm surprised there are 6. Nominations should be limited to 5.
I think it's always been 6 for Game Awards. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And look,
it should be limited to 5.
There is. I don't think there's a game on this list now. Again, I've only personally played 2 of them. But based on others' thoughts and that I've heard, I don't think there's a game on this list that anyone's going to really get upset if it wins Game of the Year. I think this is a fair list, and really the winners are really us as gamers.
Yeah, man. Because look at the list. Like, right. Look at it. Jesus.
What else we got here nominees wise? There wasn't a whole lot of controversy about the nominees list that I remember coming out. Best narrative, somehow Final Fantasy 16 snuck on there. This is also the year where like Cyberpunk is getting its plaudits because we couldn't do it in 2020 when the game came out and was busted. So like everyone's like giving nominations to the expansion, which is fine.
I mean, it's a cheat. It's a cheat, but whatever. It's a cheat. Okay.
Best performance. Let's see here. Ben Starr from Final Fantasy, Cameron Monaghan. No, thank you. Idris Elba from Cyberpunk, Melanie Liburd from Alan Wake 2. They picked one person from Baldur's Gate, the dude who played Astarion, Neil Newbon, and Mike has picked Yuri Lowenthal.
Look, man, Idris Elba is on there because he's Idris Elba, right? Cameron Monaghan is on there for the same reason that Idris Elba is on there, but to a much lesser extent. Right, because he's been on TV.
Much lesser extent. Lesser extent.
Ben Starr, I'm sure, is a nice person, but Clive he wasn't. He opened up a bit towards the back half of the game, but no, haven't played Alan Wake. Astarion, the Baldur's Gate representative is Astarion because like Astarion is the mascot character.
Ironically, like my least favorite party member, I think, of the entire.
Yeah, like everyone loves Astarion. I never pick Astarion to be in my group. I don't like your foppish nature. Like, get out of here. And yes, Yuri Lowenthal should win because he gives. Essentially a dual performance.
Yeah.
Like his descent into what is essentially drugs, right? Because that's what the Venom symbiote is a metaphor for. It's great. And it's subtle until it isn't. And then you're like, yo, like, whoa, like you need to calm down, bro. Like, no, I'm the hero. you don't save me. Like, oh, all right, bro, chill out. And then when he pushes through, right, and comes out of rehab, kicks his habit, and he's like, right, like, yeah, he should win. And you know what? He's gonna win. How about that?
There you
Putting it
go.
out.
I disagree. I'm pretty sure they just want. I'm pretty sure they're gonna want everyone's want to go see just Idris, be on stage and doing his thing. Watch him not even be there though. He'll be in London.
Oh, absolutely,
over
absolutely. Quite
satellite.
frankly, quite frankly, I think they have two envelopes ready.
One of he's there. And
One of he's there, and one of he's not.
Hilarious. Weirdly, like the most controversial category was when they announced best community support because Destiny 2 ended up on the list, just ill-timed. Like I think people don't realize that those nominations were probably submitted a couple weeks ago before all this shit went down. And so it's kind of awkward now, kind of awkward. So I don't think Destiny's going to win, which you could view as a shame for the folks that are left that are working hard to keep the ship floating on the community side. There specifically, which had a lot of the issues. I love the fact that they managed to find 5 nominees for best fighting game, when they really just could have had 2. It would have been fine just to have the two. Have the 2.
This is a 2-horse race,
Right.
Unless people want to get cute, this is a 2-horse race. Now, who gets to vote for these things? Just anybody?
No, it's a mixture.
nominated?
It's a mixture of industry folks and fans. I think the fan vote is worth like 30%, and then like the other 70% comes from the industry people that Jeff Keighley has on his judges panel.
Okay, well then I would hope Street Fighter 6 would win. If this was purely a fan vote, then Mortal Kombat would run away with it.
Yeah, I would assume that it would. Also notable is that Starfield only nominated for 1 award, Best RPG, which, considering that Baldur's Gate 3 is in the same,
it's gonna lose.
Category, is not going to win. Which is a shame.
Do you think it got? Do you think it got snubbed? I don't.
No, not this year of all years. Like almost any other year, I could see it being nominated. Warts and all, I could see it being nominated in the Game of the Year category, but it wasn't happening this year.
Yeah, it just, that game's fine.
I like Starfield. Like I like the game quite a bit, but I'm also realistic. I mean, same thing with like Diablo 4. Like Diablo 4, I think is excellent, but it's not getting nominated this year. It just isn't. Like I'm not so out on a limb for Diablo 4 that I'm screaming like Diablo got snubbed. Like no, it did get snubbed. Like there's too many good fucking games this year that are on the list.
Is this a new category? Best adaptation?
Oh, I didn't even see that. What's even nominated?
Best adaptation is recognizing creative work that faithfully, authentically.
This is a new category. I don't remember them ever doing this. That's actually really interesting. What do you so what do you think? Because it has to come down between Last of Us and Mario movie, right? For this.
Yeah, and I think The Last of Us is going to win. For a number of reasons.
I disagree. I think it's a Mario movie.
I think it's going to win purely because if they have a chance to get Pedro Pascal to accept a video game award, they're going to get it. This is one of those 2 envelopes.
I guarantee you he's presenting regardless. I guarantee he's presenting regardless this year. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them were. Yeah.
If they're presenting, guess what? They're winning.
I don't feel like we're gonna see best adaptation every single year on the list. Also want to point out, and this is only for me, best sports and racing game. It was a year for racing games. 4 out of the 5 nominees are all racing games on this list.
Are actually racing games?
Yeah, F1, Forza, the new Hot Wheels game, and Crew Motorfest all got nominated alongside EA Sports FC.
All right.
So good year for racers. Not even a Gran Turismo to be found this year, just because it's that came out last year. So, best indie game. This is kind of going to be the de facto indie game of the year because, again, like this year, there just wasn't going to be an indie game that could get up there. I think it's interesting because of who's voting for it. I would think that Sea of Stars would win, but I think Dave the Diver might have an outside chance because fucking video game podcasters love themselves some Dave the Diver. I'll tell you. Like a Dave the Diver, because you're not up on the indie scene. Dave the Diver is a is like a it's a game where like you play as this obese diver who like dives and catches fish, and then like the other side of the game is you run a sushi restaurant, and apparently it's very good.
So you catch the fish, and then you sell it.
Yeah, basically.
All right.
And this one also was a bit controversial because it's being marketed. It's an indie game, but the company that owns the developer is Nexon. So is it? So people are like getting into these really obscure arguments of whether or not this should be considered an indie game. So that's been the latest argument on the interwebs. There's some people that firmly think it should not be because it has the backing of like a major publisher. And to them I say I feel like indie is almost like a genre. Like I was listening to Kind of Funny podcast, and Blesse Adeote like did the porn comparison where he's like, you know it when you see it. And I'm like, yeah, I think you're actually right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
No one would classify Star Wars Episode 4 an indie movie, right? But it was. So, by the strictest definition of independent movie. So, yeah, I agree. It's, you know it when you see it.
Yeah. So, any other awards you care to talk about? That was really all that I had.
The popularity contest award,
the most
anticipated game.
Fuck, man. Look, I know Final Fantasy's gonna win. I kind of wish that Hades would win, but I know Final Fantasy's gonna be the one.
I'm shocked that Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is on here.
I'm not.
I am absolutely, and I'm shocked that Tekken 8 is on here. Like, come on, man. Like, look, I like fighting games. You like fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
The world doesn't like fighting games. Like, I can't imagine a bunch of people are anticipating Tekken 8 who don't know what Tekken Claw is, right? You know, play with Tekken Claw. So.
Look, Like a Dragon, you know, what they've shown off of that game so far, like, has a lot of people really interested because apparently there's like a whole Animal Crossing-ish style mode in the game. Like you can do like some like build up this like part of Hawaii or something like that. I still need to play. I did buy Like a Dragon Yakuza or whatever the first one was because it was on sale. It was on sale for like $11. I'm like, I can't pass this up. Now I just need to find time to play it.
Yeah, well, you got to find a lot of time. Like the thing with these games is they are incredibly long. Like if you like, you got to really carve out some time to dedicate to this, especially if you really get into it and start doing side stories. I bought the Man Who Erased His Name.
Yeah.
And
that's
it's fun.
That's a traditional Yakuza game, right? Or a traditional Like a Dragon game.
Yeah, it's a beat 'em up. You know, you can switch styles and stuff. One of the styles is like a secret agent style, so he's got like a Bond watch that like can shoot out these tendrils, and you can trap people like some high-tech Spider-Man. And it's interesting. I'm not terribly far in it yet, just because I literally just bought it. So to kind of get myself ready for Infinite Wealth. So we'll see. I don't know about esports. I looked at the content creator of the year just to see how I am. And yeah,
PMG should win. They're a group that does their YouTube channel that does like basically what amounts to like video game essays about stuff that like they're probably their most famous one is they did the Roblox essay about like the exploitative nature of Roblox, which is really good. If you haven't watched it, I would certainly recommend it. I also really like Quentin Smith. I follow also because he has a board game YouTube channel, and I've been watching his shit for like a decade. So I would love to see those guys get that. So that'd be pretty dope. But yeah, those are all the awards that get announced, like the rapid fire, like before commercial or pre-show.
Yeah, they're the Nerd Awards.
Yeah.
They're like the best sound mixing award.
Yes. The Oscar equivalent, yes. So it should be fun. I think it's going to be a bit of an awkward show because I feel that Jeff Keighley really wants to lean into the celebration aspect of video games, but it's kind of a, it's kind of a bummer fucking time in the games industry right now, and I think that's going to hang over the show's head like a pall to some extent.
Yeah, it's gonna hang over the show's head like a corpo hangs your job security over your head.
Yes, very, very apt comparison there. So we're gonna take a quick break, and then we will be right back with the news. All right, so let's get into the news this week. Micah, I have a serious question to ask you. Okay, a serious question to ask you. If you could get a current generation Steam Deck for cheap, would you want to buy it?
Not now. Like not now.
No, not
No,
like tomorrow, but I'm saying like in the next couple of months. Like if you had the opportunity to get your hands on a used but well loved original model Steam Deck, how interested
I
would you be to buy it?
I would not be interested to buy it just because of what the story is. Knowing that something better is out, I can't for the life
Yeah.
of me go and buy. Like if I'm gonna go in, I'm
Mhm.
gonna go in. Like
Okay.
I'm very cheap, but like when I go in, I go in. You
You
know what
go
I
in
mean?
you go in full bore. Um, I asked Micah this question because I am finding it really difficult over the next 2 days to talk myself out of going in myself on the new Steam Deck OLED that Valve unveiled last week and was in reviewers' hands for a couple weeks leading up to that. And by all accounts, this updated version of the Steam Deck is fucking incredible. And according to Valve, kind of the version that they wanted to put out the entire time. But because of
Don't say that. Don't say that.
well, I understand where they're coming from because again, we got to remember the Steam Deck came out 2 years ago during like chip shortage palooza, and apparently like the other difficulty that they had was because they didn't have like a proof of concept for this device. Like they were going to screen manufacturers to try to get them to make them this bespoke screen, like this bespoke OLED screen, and people like were like, "No, we're not going to do that," or like, "We don't understand like what you're looking for," or just like made it cost prohibitive to do it. And so they said, okay, we gotta get what we can that's in the marketplace right now, and we'll use these IPS displays. And then kind of once the proof of concept came along and people understood like what they're trying to accomplish, it became easier to manufacture what they wanted to make, essentially. So like they really aren't like, hey, like we tried to pull the wool over you. They're just like, no, we this is what we wanted to do, but we literally could not do it back in 2001, but we can do it now because it's a little bit easier to get parts and stuff like that. So here is what is different with the Steam Deck OLED over the current Steam Deck. So it has a new AMD processor that actually has it's a 6 nanometer processor instead of a 7, which means it's a smaller chipset, which means it's using less power. It has updated DDR5 memory on it, still 16 gigs, but it's going to be a little bit faster. It has a 7.4-inch 90 hertz refresh rate OLED display that is capable of displaying HDR with a peak brightness of 1000 nits and even 600 nits at S standard definition. By comparison, the current Steam Deck has a 7-inch 60 hertz IPS display that only has a peak brightness of 400 nits. So bigger screen, OLED, faster refresh rate, much brighter, much brighter capability. It's just an upgrade in every single way. It's also cool. So since the refresh rate is 90 hertz, one of the things you can do with this is, let's say you're running a game, right? And it's like a higher intensity game. Like let's say you're playing Spider-Man on the Steam Deck. You can actually lock the frame rate at 45 hertz. But because it's a 90 hertz refresh rate display, it actually duplicates every frame. So it actually makes 45 hertz look smoother, or 45 frames per second look smoother than it normally would if you didn't have that extra refresh rate on the screen. Apparently, it's very nifty, makes playing games at lower frame rates even more tolerable. It's got a 25% larger battery. It has an updated Wi-Fi band, which has 6E Wi-Fi in it, which means that downloads should be much faster. And despite all this, it's actually lighter than the current Steam Deck by about 30 grams. The other best part is they kept the case the exact same. So all current Steam Deck accessories like cases and stuff like that will work with the new OLED model as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So how much are you how much are you kind of not kicking yourself because
No,
you love
I'm really not because again, didn't know this was coming. I've had the current Steam Deck for a year. I've certainly gotten my usage out of it. You know, I've probably logged over 500 hours of playtime, you know, on that device. And like if I end up getting this, which is again very possible, and I sell the current Steam Deck for like 225 or something like that, I'm pretty happy. You know what I mean? I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
They're also dropping the price of the current LCD Steam Decks out there. So to try to clear out stock, and they're actually going to keep around the 64 gig model, which is the lowest entry model, which is now I think 349, which puts it on par with the Nintendo Switch, which is
Wow.
kind of crazy for what you're getting.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So have they determined the price on this, or
they have. So let's see here. So we have so there is for the OLED model, there's a 512 gig model for 549. And then the 1 terabyte model is 649. There's also a limited special edition 1 terabyte model for $30 more. That comes with a bespoke case. It has like a translucent shell on the Steam Deck itself, kind of like the old N64 controllers back in the day.
Yeah.
And it has orange accents, like where the analog sticks go and on the fan grill and stuff like that. Looks very cool. I don't need that the specific model. Like I'm pretty sure if I do get this, I'll probably just get the 512 gig because that's what I have right now. Or no, I have a 256 right now, so that would still be an upgrade with onboard storage. But you can use memory cards. So
nice.
yeah, pre-order start on the 16th, which is Thursday. So
I do want this. I do. I just can't justify it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But this looks like I don't know. It's just like a big toy. Like I like the new pieces of tech. So
yeah.
I just can't justify it right now. But it seems dope, man.
It's like I said, everyone that's reviewed it is raving about it. Again, from what everyone says, if you are interested in the Steam Deck but haven't pulled the trigger yet, this is the one to get. And Valve did say that this is the last update you'll see until they can make like a generational improvement. So I feel like you can kind of buy with confidence on this one as well. Like they're not going to slip a new model out on you in 2 years or anything like that. So. Yeah, I love mine. Like even though I did buy the gaming PC, like I still play on Steam Deck, a lot. There's certain games that I play specifically on Steam Deck, and certain games that I play specifically on the desktop.
My brother-in-law doesn't go anywhere without his Steam Deck. He doesn't go anywhere without it. So he loves it. So awesome.
Yep. So let's see here. Sony. So if you guys remember a couple months back, before Jim Ryan left, Sony talked about how they had a dozen live service games planned in their pipeline over the next several years. It's one of the reasons they bought Bungie is because Bungie had been so successful, developing and maintaining their live service game that they wanted to bring in somebody not only to continue, making Destiny and making that very good, but also to kind of evaluate Sony's live service efforts and Sony's like live service output. Well, things have changed a little bit because I think Sony realizes that the live service marketplace is not quite where they want it to be right now. So they have scaled back the calendar from 12 games to 6 games that they plan on releasing by March 2026 because they want to make sure that each game's quality is up to snuff, and they're not just firing out as many live service games as they can out of a straw and seeing which one sticks to the wall. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's yeah, it was getting to be like plastic instruments all over again, man. Like like I understand, you got to strike while the iron's hot, but like everybody's striking that iron. Um,
Well, and not only that, but I feel like that their strategy was almost like, hey, like let's put out a dozen games, and if two of them hit, like that'll pay for the other 10 kind of thing. But again, like I feel
yeah,
like that people, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, so I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but I feel like the publishers, even smart publishers, because I don't think Sony's a dumb publisher, look at live service games and they think, oh, it's just so easy. Like you just got to find people, like just got to build a really addictive gameplay loop and get people to do it. But they don't discount, or they don't put, bake into the fact that these other live service games that are very popular already exist. They already have fan bases. They already have that are committed to them. And you also can't discount the fact that like the super popular ones kind of came along at the right moment in time as well. Like
yeah,
it's not just the fact that the games are good, but they also just kind of, Fortnite was the one that really got people into it over PUBG, and Apex had that surprise launch and they had that word of mouth that kept everybody buzzing, and Call of Duty could build off of the Call of Duty gameplay that was already, and
right.
here's how popular Warzone is, and here's how much Sony cares about that, is that I don't know if you've seen the reviews for Modern Warfare 3 that have come out, but
Yes, I
apparently
have.
like the campaign for Modern Warfare 3 is almost an afterthought at this point.
Yeah,
And that's because
apparently
Sony,
it's dog shit.
yeah, and that's because Activision knows where they're making their money. And it's, having the Call of Duty multiplayer and also maintaining Warzone. And it's very difficult, and we've seen so many live service games come out, maybe even have their moment in the sun for a couple months, and then inevitably come crashing down. It's with new IP especially, like it's fucking hard to get to garner that user base that's going to keep you eating for several months or years.
It's hard to do with existing IP at
Right.
the apex of their like popularity in the zeitgeist. Like if they couldn't do it with Avengers, right? Like it's not and that had a it was fun to play. The loop was okay, but like it wasn't great. Like if they couldn't do like they didn't think it through. That's what these companies are, they're not thinking anything through. They think that they can just, like you said, it's just whatever. We can just throw whatever. We can have the laziest gameplay loop and put it out there and just hope that people get. Nah, man. Like Bungie Bungie with Destiny, like that's the game that
Yeah.
they're working on. Like it's
Well, and
not
and that's
like
the thing. Like I feel like these companies are looking for like apex numbers, when you have to realize, like, if you have a live service game and you have like 20,000 average daily users, that's great, but that's not good enough. Like that's not enough to get people for companies to want to invest in them. Like, they want to see those numbers that Apex and Fortnite are consistently pulling off. But again, like like Fortnite had their biggest weekend ever 2 weeks ago, because they're doing they're doing like a limited event where they have like the original Fortnite map, that people can play through, and they're doing like an accelerated version of the first season or the first year of content of Fortnite, and they had their biggest weekend ever, 44 million unique players over one weekend. Like that's your competition. Like that. They're
right.
still out here doing
Like
it. They're still out here
it's
doing
just,
it. So
I don't know, man.
yeah, so smart on Sony to scale it back and not put all their eggs in the live service basket. But again, we're still going to see a half a dozen live service games of varying quality, I'm sure, coming out from Sony. And again, I hope that one or two of them are really good. But will they still be around, 2 years after they come out? We shall see. Who
Come
knows?
on, don't discount the rabid anticipation that is that foam party game or whatever the
I
hell
don't even
it's
think
called.
that's one of them. I think that game just exists. That's being published by Square. So
Ah, mm,
as I put in the docket, the worst person you know makes a good point. So Strauss Zelnick felt like strutting around a little bit, which I feel like it's a bad idea. Where he bragged about the fact that Take-Two has managed to avoid the layoffs that have stricken the industry thanks to moderate investments and a focus on efficiency over the recent years. According to Strauss Zelnick, he was talking to gamesindustry.Biz, and he said he thinks that many other studios and companies, quote, overbuilt during the enthusiasm of the pandemic. That's in the understatement of the century. Now, Strauss Zelnick also doesn't mention the fact that Take-Two could afford to be a little bit more conservative with their investments because they have one of the biggest games on the planet for the past decade.
I mean, like, come on, yo, like
holding up their finances. So,
it's just like, it's like I heard a clip of Whoopi Goldberg calling Gen Zers lazy. Like, you're just lazy. Well, I mean, like, things are a little different. Like,
Yeah.
you're just not working hard enough to get a house. Well, maybe things are a little different. It's always the people who are sitting on golden clouds telling you, well, I mean, look, guys, all you got to do is have the most popular game in the world, right? And 2 words, shark cards. That's it. You just got to have the most popular game in the world and sell them currency for that game, and then you're fine. You're fine.
Not to mention NBA 2K on top of that, which we aren't even mentioning. So
right, come on, man.
Yeah. So that's and again, like Strauss, I feel like you're tempting fate a little bit by coming out here and being like, and living in your hubris. Don't.
Yeah, it's in print now. It's in print now.
Don't be surprised if this shit boomerangs back around on you in a couple months' time. So, and because we couldn't go another week without talking about cuts in the game industry, unfortunately, Digital Extremes, who is the developer of Warframe, have closed down something that they had started doing in the recent months, which is a publishing arm. So they were kind of doing like a Gearbox strategy, where not only were they self-publishing their own game, but they were also publishing games from smaller studios. Most recently, they from Airship Syndicate, who many folks know from the Ruined King League of Legends game, and they did the Darksiders Genesis game, and they did Battle Knights. I can't remember what that RPG was called, but it was it's the Joe Madureira company, basically.
Oh yeah. I actually like those games. Like, they're simple, but it's basically your classic. What's the most popular game in the genre that they're aping, right? Like, they take that style, they take that gameplay, and then they just put someone's like style over it. So yeah, I like those.
Yeah.
It's like Battle Chasers. Or
Yeah, Battle Chasers Night War. That's what the other one was called. So they just released their new action RPG Wayfinder through Digital Extremes, and unfortunately, the folks on the Digital Extreme side who were part of that publishing team were let go, and Wayfinder was basically the rights for that publishing rights reverted back to Airship Syndicate, essentially. So they will be slowly transferring that over. This is a shame, as all job cuts are, but I don't feel like this is. I feel like this is a little bit different than the recent cuts at a lot of other companies, because again, Digital Extremes themselves are a pretty small company, and I think that they were trying to take a big swing, and again, kind of mimic that Gearbox style that worked really well for Gearbox, and kind of broaden themselves in that way. And I think it's a shame that it did not work out. So, I mean, Micah, do you think that smaller publishers should be taking these kind of risks with the current situation, such as it is in world finance?
Look, if we're gonna play this game, right? If we're gonna play the capitalism game, you gotta swing for home runs, and every once in a while. And look, I listened to a couple of I listened to this one podcast. It's kind of like a business tech podcast. And one of the guys there, he says, the way that he succeeded in business is one, leadership has to be compassionate, right? Like nobody responds well to a hard ass boss, Jay. But that's one thing. The other thing is you got to know when to hire smart, and the third thing is you got to know when to fire smart. You can't be so benevolent that you keep people on if they're not producing or if it is detrimental to the company. Look, if you're a smaller company, you're taking a big swing, you missed, and you have to let people go. Okay, I mean it sucks. I don't like it. I don't necessarily condone it, but I do understand it
Hmm.
because your entire company could fold,
Yeah.
right? These bigger companies don't have that excuse. These bigger companies that are backed by other bigger companies don't have that excuse. So, look, I hate anybody losing their job. If people want to work, they should be able to work. But like firing people because so that other people can get more money, like that's stupid.
Hmm.
I don't like that at all. But if you have to let people go to keep to keep the business alive, I get it.
Yep. So, again, a bummer. Also, in the last day, Amazon is apparently uh, pulling out of making games. They let go of 180 folks out of their gaming division and said that they're going to shift focus on Prime Gaming from like Luna, which they had been doing, to just the free games because they said that's what consumers want. And fair. Like I go on my Twitch freebies with my Prime every month to look to see what games and DLC is free. And that's about it. Like I've never gone on to Luna to play a game and stream from Amazon or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I do get it. Unfortunately, it is a bummer. But again, this is where we are right now. So we'll see who unfortunately has been let go next week. Because again, that train seems to not be stopping at any
God
point.
damn.
So it sucks, but it's the truth. We're gonna run another block of ads, and then we'll be back with the post office. Right. So you can join our Discord by going to densepixels.com/fans so that you can contribute questions to the Dense Pixels post office. Just like Mad Coco, actually, no, Cam, or no, I'm still looking at last week's questions. We didn't have a lot of questions this week because we got a couple that came in, so I didn't put out the all call. Rashawn, we'll start with him. He says, will Micah pick up the PlayStation Portal knowing that you can play the games downloaded on your PS5 anywhere on the portal as long as you have a strong Wi-Fi connection?
No. It has to be the same Wi-Fi that the console is connected to, right?
No, you can. So you can do it on remote Wi-Fi. Like obviously your console will need to be connected to your home Wi-Fi. But if you have access to another Wi-Fi, I mean, PlayStation Remote Play works the same way. Like if I have my phone,
Okay.
I can get on a Wi-Fi connection and play my PlayStation remotely. It doesn't work all that well, but it is
Yeah.
certainly possible. And that's the thing, right? Like so even I watched a couple reviews on the portal because that also made its way out into the hands of reviewers this week. The device looks solid. Like it looks like it is from a hardware standpoint, it is well worth the $200 asking price that Sony is asking for it. But even in an ideal condition, so like I watched one reviewer and they tested Gran Turismo, right? And they kind of did this very smart because when you remote play on your PS5, it'll still be up on on your monitor that you have your PS5 connected to, but it'll also just be streaming to this device. And even in an ideal condition, in on the same network, in the same room, same Wi-Fi, fast Wi-Fi, the most ideal conditions you could have, the screen on the PlayStation Portal was about point or what 15 hundredths of a second behind what was on the TV screen when capturing them simultaneously. Now 15 hundredths of a second latency, 0.15 seconds, pretty good. Like it's pretty fucking good. And by the way, they could tell this because they were playing Gran Turismo, which has literally a fucking timer on the screen while you're racing. So like that was a really smart way to do it. So again, 0.15 latency, great. Most games that you play on there, like turn-based games and things of that nature, no problem. any like Twitch shooters or fighting games or like action platformers, that sort of thing that require a lot of fast reflexes, that 0.15 seconds will ruin your
Yeah.
experience playing. So
No, I wouldn't get this. It was never about it was never about like for me it was two things. One, I don't think the thing looks elegant. I don't like the like slapdash looking like it looks like someone just broke a controller and just jammed it into like it's not an elegant looking machine. I don't like the look of it. And two, I don't have time in my life now right now for a portable machine.
yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be right there with you with a Steam Deck. But
And again, like I feel like that there is a subset of PS5 owners that this device will be very appealing to. And I think for that subset of PS5 owners, I think that it will be a great addition. But again, like to Micah's point, I have a Steam Deck that I play on poorly most of the time. If I absolutely have to remote play a PS5 for some reason, I can do it on my phone with my Backbone controller. And I'm
yeah,
already good to go.
I could just get $100 backbone
Right.
and do virtually the same thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I will not. But Rashawn, feel free to give us your review when you get yours.
Yes. Johnny asks, with the Game Awards nominations released, what potential winner would make you feel that the award selection was rigged?
Mortal Kombat.
Oh my god. Trying to think what
Um,
would make me think that the awards were rigged. Because again, this year among
Spider
every
Man.
no, I don't. Like I said,
I would
I
rig
don't
it.
think that's gonna happen. Zelda, I think
Yeah.
would be that one. I like Zelda. I'm not surprised is on the Game of the Year nominees. For some reason it would just feel weird if it were to win it this year. I don't know why. I'm not casting dispersions on Tears of the Kingdom. It just kind of it would feel very strange to me hearing how people, and by people I mean like games journalists, have talked about Baldur's Gate, have talked about Alan Wake 2, which apparently is like a generational game according to a lot of fucking reviewers, have talked about Super Mario Wonder in many of the same aspects. If Tears of the Kingdom somehow wins Game of the Year, I will be shocked. Put it that way. I will be shocked. It does not feel
I
like it's that it is Tears of the Kingdom's year this year.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago I said this is a race for second. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
might be a race for third, man. Like it from what everyone's telling me about Alan Wake and from what I'm seeing, like it's actually using the medium of video games
Mm-hmm.
to tell an interesting story, and that is why people are enjoying it so much. Whereas Baldur's Gate is a game through and through,
Mm-hmm.
but it is like the apex of what a video game should be in many people's eyes. Alan Wake is like is experimenting with the genre, and it's kind of paying off. I'm super curious.
Are you a Remedy extended universe guy? I don't know if you've. I know you played the Max Payne games, but that's
I've
not
played
really
Max
part of them.
Payne. What was that? I've played what was that other game? Um that had like
Quantum Break.
Quantum Break. Yeah, it
Yeah,
had like a TV show with it.
yeah.
I I I like the ideas that they have,
Mm-hmm.
but some of the and I've played Control. I like the ideas, but some of the actual gameplay I'm not really keen on. Control was cool, but it had this it had this uh like hard sci-fi, but like Twin Peaks
Mm-hmm.
sci-fi kind of vibe to it, which is not the sci-fi that I gravitate toward. But Control was cool. Um, I played Quantum Break. I played Max Payne. Like their actual games aren't. They don't grab me like I think they should for me to be like this is game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But what they're doing in terms of storytelling and mixed media is very very entertaining. Like I would probably I don't do this. normally, but I would probably watch a playthrough of Alan Wake 2
Gotcha.
just to see what it's like.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect you to play it because again, your ability to play scary games is well
Nah, nah,
documented at this
nah.
point. So
It's got to be like 11 a.m. I got to have the prices right on the other TV, and I got to have a podcast on to, let me know that I'm still in reality. You know what I mean?
Daniel asks, "What is on your Game Awards bingo card this year?" I have an interesting question to ask you about the bingo card question specifically. Is Kojima so ubiquitous that he's like a center square type of thing? Like he's almost like a gimme that he'll show up in some way, shape, or form at the Game Awards.
I saw a tweet of Jeff Keighley, and he was there with
Of course,
Kojima,
of course.
and Kojima was just like, "What's up? I'm Kojima," and Jeff Keighley was standing there like a proud prom date. You know what I mean? Like he was there. So yes, I think you will see him at some point, even if he's not like doing anything. He might just be in the crowd, just chilling. You know what I mean? Like front and center, like
Yeah.
somewhere where Jeff can see him, so that if for whatever reason, right, if Jeff gets accosted again by some fucking lunatic, Kojima could just be there to be like, "It's cool, bro. I got you. We'll hang out afterwards."
Like
You know what I
I,
mean?
I I think you'll see Jeff Keighley give some sort of awkward tribute to like fired let go game workers in the industry over the
Yeah,
past
it'll be
year.
like it'll be his in memoriam segment.
Right, right. I mean Joseph Ferris I feel like is a guarantee almost. Like you'll see him show up in some way, shape, or form, and they'll have to have the bleep button ready on standby for him. You'll see a left field Hollywood cameo coming out of nowhere, I'm sure, this year. Much like Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves in years past. Um, I'm trying to think, what else will you see at the Game Awards this year?
Probably speeches that just kind of ramble because like these people are not, or you'll get speeches that ramble from people like Christopher Judge, who like are used to being on stage but never used to winning anything. Or like, no offense to him, but like you ain't getting awards for Babylon 5, you know what I mean? And or you'll get like, or every one of these people are nerds, right? And nerds generally don't, do well in front of people. Like it'll be awkward. I'm here for the cringe.
There will be
Is
a
what
lot of
I'm
cringe
saying.
because often there's also like a developer where English always wins something and English isn't their first language, so like they'll have to
Yeah,
awkwardly
and
give like a thank you speech and shit like that.
yeah.
You'll see nerds on X or Twitter, is more should be more commonly known, get really pissed off about ad breaks because they don't understand how the Game Awards is funded. Like I love people get really upset every year. Like, it's like a block of commercials. Like this has nothing to do with gaming. I'm like, yeah, bro. It's like Jeff Keighley's got to sell fucking ad spaces so he can do this thing independently. Like,
Yeah. Do you want to pay to watch the show?
right.
Then shut up.
I'm trying to think. That's probably those are my predictions. I'm sure someone out there could develop an actual good Game Awards bingo card. The problem is that I don't ever remember what happens at Game Awards outside of like the really memeable moments.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We shall see what happens there. Oh, I think you're gonna get if you want a trailer prediction, I think you'll get a trailer for the Elden Ring DLC, whatever that's gonna be. So that's my
Does
trailer
Ko-
prediction.
does Kojima have a game coming out?
Not that's been like he is definitely working on something right now, but it's not been truly unveiled yet.
Like, I'm trying to see if they would have some sort of like, didn't they preview Death Stranding? Didn't they announce Death Stranding 2 like last year or something like that?
Was that Death Stranding 2? I guess it was. Yeah, yeah. But he's not gonna have anything to show on that yet. I don't think.
I don't know, man. Any reason to get him there?
That's true. It's a good point. So, but no, like I said, I think you get Miyazaki on stage, and I think you get the first real like trailer for the Elden Ring DLC. So, which would be a big get for Jeff, as he's prone to getting. Finally, Cam says, Super Mario Wonder is so delightful that it got me wondering, what current 3D game series would you like to see return to its 2D roots for a similar fun time? I was thinking about this question, and so I don't want to see a game series. So the game series that I'm going to mention never had a 2D iteration come out. But I would be very curious to see what a 2D Ratchet and Clank game could look like. I think that could be pretty cool.
That would be dope. Yeah, whatever happened to Mascot?
Mascot it died after the PS3 era, I suppose.
I don't know. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm scrambling to try and find a list of possible games that I think might work. You know what I kind of want to play? I kind of want to play that new Prince of Persia game.
Mm-hmm. It's very good,
but I just don't want to pay for it.
But it's a Ubisoft game though, so like I'd imagine if you wait 3 or 4 months, like you could probably get it for at least half price, if not better.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, man. I'm thinking like I'll just hold off on it, but yeah, I do kind of want to play that. Yeah, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
By the way, I don't know what made me think about this with this question. Did you know? And I haven't played it, so I can't vouch for its quality myself. But did you know that there is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles roguelike game that apparently the gameplay is pretty much it's a cooperative roguelike, and the gameplay is akin to that of Hades in the Apple Arcade store, and it's apparently like really good.
What?
I just heard about this for the first time. Apparently it's been out for months, and I heard about it for the first time the other day. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, like I can't remember what the name of it is. It's TMNT something or other, but it's
TMNT Splintered Fate.
Yes,
a Hades-inspired Ninja Turtles roguelike.
Yeah, that's cooperative, and apparently it's great.
Well, guess what I'm about to do?
Are you really gonna spend $5 just to play through the TMNT?
Oh, I have Apple One.
Oh,
right. It comes with Apple Arcade.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm in the Apple ecosystem. I'm a member of the cult.
Well, you're gonna have to report back on that to see if it's actually a decent game. So
yeah, especially for it being a phone game. But I not so secretly love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So
who doesn't?
Yeah, I will. Weirdos. That's who.
I mean, if it's that legit, like hopefully it'll come to like PC and like Switch at some point. I feel like that would be a natural if they want to make more money than Apple's paying them. I don't know how long their deal with Apple Arcade is, but that'd be pretty cool. So yeah. Thank you guys for submitting those post office questions. Again, if you can submit us questions or just chat with folks about games by joining our Discord at densepixels.com/fans. I'm also like fucking Santa Claus every now and then dropping keys for Steam games in the Discord as well. I just put a whole bunch in yesterday. So you can, of course, check those out if you are a member. Don't forget to go to youtube.com/fans to subscribe to us while you're there. We do put the podcast out in video format every week. If you're like me and you're a traditional podcast listener, you can make sure you follow us as well as all the other TNP Studio shows on whatever podcatcher you use to listen to podcasts. Don't forget to also sign up for premium content by going to densepixels.com/premium. It's just $5 a month or $50 for an entire year to get access to the premium slate of TNP Studios podcasts. And of course, you can help support the show financially by going to densepixels.com/Amazon whenever you want to give Jeff Bezos some of your hard-earned money to buy goods and services. So that is it for us this week. Thank you all very much for watching and listening, and we'll see you all the next time.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.